Hi class, this is Dr. Dilmar. I wanted to make you a video that's succinct because I know your time is valuable and you're really trying to use these final hours of these final days to complete the class successfully. So I'm going to try to make you a video that's succinct but gets you to where you need to be for understanding how to close this class out successfully, specifically as it relates to IRB and your work for this course. So I started here on the screen. You should see assignment 6, which is planning your IRB. But I know some of you have asked some great questions about, okay, so am I doing IRB, turning it into you, then getting feedback? When do I get feedback because the assignment's due on the last day of class? How do I work and navigate this situation? So I want to explain to you the steps that you're going to follow. So first, you are going to write your IRB submission and you're going to submit it in the assignment portal. How do you know what to submit as far as in your IRB submission? We're going to go to the Dissertation Center, which I believe I posted for you guys this past week or last week. So this is the Doctoral Center for National. And we're going to follow the IRB and data collection guidance. Now, before I show you this and dig into this and then go back to how you're going to get feedback in the timeline, which I am getting to at the end of this video here, I just wanted to mention, remember, a good dissertation is a done dissertation. I posted an announcement about the types of research that students should stick with. Some research is more complex and we want to stay away from that. So I'll show you that announcement if you're not sure which one I'm talking about also before I end this video. So I want to make sure that you understand you're keeping this short and simple and succinct. Obviously not so short that you don't complete all the requirements, but keeping this simple is your best strategy. You're not trying to solve the world's problems in your research. You're trying to show that you can follow the process and complete that research and dissertation proposal successfully. So just keep your eye on the ball, short and simple, okay? So as you write IRB, what are you using? What are you doing? So when we click on this box on the Doctoral Center, I want to highlight a couple of things here that you should attend to. Now there's links within this link, right? So I'm on the IRB section here, IRB and data collection. You'll see here that there's a link there. There's a link here, the steps, application process, and specifics. It says application specifics here. So you want to click here and look at what are the specifics of the application. There's a video. And then there's a link here that you might actually miss that I want you to click on, and that's an overview, services, and application process. Then there's a video. How do you respond to IRB comments? Hypothetical challenges. This means that these are common challenges. You do not want to write your IRB proposal and do things that prior students have done when you can avoid those roadblocks by preparing. So you should read these challenges so you do not have those challenges on your own application and then you have to go back and redo and redo and redo. If you look at these challenges, you'll avoid this the first time. There's example instruments and tools for data collection. There's a verification form if you need it. And then here, I'm just going to click on this real quick. You'll see that that's a video. So you can click on that. Let me go back. And there's one more thing I want to show you real quick. Here we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted to click. Sorry, let me pause that video. I'm trying to find one. There's another link I wanted to show you. Okay, well, there's another link. I'll put it in this announcement so that you'll have it. But it shows you where the webinar is. I'm probably just not seeing it because I'm recording and I'm trying to be quick for you. But there's another link that has webinar recordings. So while you may have missed the prior webinars about IRB, those webinars, which gives you really valuable information, are recorded. So you'll be able to click on that link and find the webinar. And I would recommend that in addition to these links on this page and the videos here, that you also go back and watch the prior webinars. Now, not all research requires IRB approval, so I would do you could even just do basic AI or Google searches on the types of research that requires IRB approval and doesn't. Either way, you're submitting to IRB. IRB is just coming back and saying you have a green light and you're ready to go, or you will need IRB approval, and here's the things we need. So you're basically going through that process of asking for permission to conduct your research, and they may come back and just say, great, your research is good as is, you're ready to move forward, or no, this requires certain things, and here's all the things you need to give us if you haven't already prepared those things. So you're really, what I would suggest is you try to do research that doesn't necessarily need IRB approval. But if you do need approval, you want to be able to predict what tools are going to be needed, which is why you do an exploration of all these links in this website, because it will walk you through the types of things that you would probably need in IRB. You submit your application, and then they come back and say, yes, we knew you needed XYZ form and you submitted it and we approve it. Or, yes, you need IRB approval, but you didn't submit this form, so we need this form, you need to send it back. And it's like a back and forth process to get it approved. So you want to be as close to complete as possible to prevent multiple back and forth with IRB. But that's what you're doing. You're submitting an application, you're getting a response, and whatever they tell you, then you're going to go back again and try to correct it. That's why, again, it's very important that you read these links, because there's different questions, like sample questions that IRB will ask you. All of these things are very important for you to research. So please spend time on this IRB and data collection site and make sure that you work through all of these links. I'm clicking here, so hopefully you can see in the video, see how it's hyperlinked. Hopefully you go through all of these links so that you can find that. Okay, so let me go back to the class and kind of tell you the story again of what you're doing. You have this assignment, you're planning your IRB submission. You're spending a lot of time in those different links. At the bottom of the assignment, it says additional resources. I know that sometimes you just go to the assignment and you kind of jump in where it says the instructions, but preparing for IRB, you really need to spend a lot of time understanding the process. So at the bottom here are some of these links that I want you to explore. You've got that dissertation center. Here's tricky IRB questions. Here's a completed application PowerPoint. Here's how to respond to IRB comments. Look, these are sample comments. So these are all tools and resources that if you spend a couple of hours researching all of this before you write your IRB proposal, you're going to be probably either good to go and get a green light or very close. So here's what we're going to do as far as in your submission. You notice that this says by Sunday. So in one place it says the class closes on Saturday, and another place it says that the class closes on Sunday. By Sunday, you are going to submit your IRB proposal. This assignment is pass-fail, you see here, in that you either submit it or you don't. You have to submit your IRB proposal. Now, you may not get that confirmation and feedback on Sunday, but I will get a notification. I believe it actually says that here, right here. Here you go. Watch for a message from the IRB. You will either get a notice that your package requires changes, or you'll get a notice of approval. Save your copy of your IRB approval letter to share with your next instructor. So the next class, you have to submit that to them. I believe it says here what happens when you submit. Here you go. In that system, CAYUSE, right, in this system, I'm just showing it to you here, is where you're going to track this application. So I'm going to be able to see that you turned in your application. You're going to keep the documentation. Submitting it is going to give you the points for the class. So you're not really getting feedback from me. The feedback will come from the IRB committee. What I'm going to do is be watching my email for the 5 days after Sunday, so Monday through Friday of next week, for any of you that are having challenges with IRB, so that we can go back and forth to help you work the process. So I'm not grading the IRB proposal. IRB is the one that technically does that by the way of either approving it or not approving it. And you'll be on your email and into the system looking for a response to make sure that you get approved. So let me go back because I feel like that was a lot. So you're using all of these resources to prepare your IRB package. You're going to submit them in the system, and there you go. There's the name of the system. You're going to submit them in the system. Okay, so IRB, you're going to prepare it, submit it in the system, and that gives you the points for this assignment that you submitted your IRB proposal. Okay? I'm not giving you feedback on IRB. You are submitting it directly to the IRB committee. But you're using these resources to get to as close to good or completed as possible. It's very important that you're strategic in when you complete this IRB approval and by using all these resources, because no one wants to submit to IRB 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right? You want to be able to submit it, and maybe they'll ask you a couple of questions, but very quickly you want to be able to get that approval from them. This is required to complete this class and go back to HUB 680. So if you get your approval and you get that confirmation from IRB, you're going to keep a copy of that notification and you're going to sign up for HUB 680. If you don't, then you have to repeat this class because you have to have IRB approval to move forward. And then you'll see here it talks about how it takes usually 7 to 8 business days. Again, I'm going to keep an eye on things. Hopefully we'll have this all resolved by Friday. It talks about the data changes here. I'm just kind of scrolling so you can see the words on this page. Again, this is in that assignment. So I just encourage you to read this very thoroughly. Not submitting a proposal to IRB will lead to automatically failing this course. You have to submit the IRB application. You get points for the assignment for submitting to IRB. If you need help after you submit to IRB, I will continue to monitor email and help you. But I just wanted to clarify that you're not getting feedback from me. You're getting it from that actual committee because I'm not a specialist on the IRB committee, right? So it's up to the IRB committee to decide if they're going to accept your research or not. That wouldn't be my role, or it wouldn't be appropriate for me to do that. Okay. So hopefully this was clear. I'll also try to type it up in the announcement about planning IRB, turning it in, and that's how you get the points for this assignment. And then you're going to work directly with IRB to get that completion. So your IRB committee is who you're working with to get that confirmation. Me as your professor, I'm just making sure that you actually submitted the IRB submission. So my responsibility is to make sure you submit. Your responsibility is to make sure you get to close to great as possible to reduce the amount of times you have to keep resubmitting. Again, keep it simple. Try to avoid a lot of the unnecessary complexities and spend time looking at the webinars and the recordings and the videos that I just showed you today, which are here, and then also in the doctoral center and I'm circling this with my mouse, so hopefully you see that on the video, and here where it says IRB and data collection. So spend time doing that. You'll have until Sunday to submit. Even if you need until Monday, I will work with you to make sure that you get that done. So if you can't, if you're like, oh, I just don't feel like I'm ready to submit until Monday, that's fine. Just keep in contact with me so that we can make sure you get this submitted and you get a grade for submission. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Your other assignment for this week, real quick, is your chapters, your rough draft of chapters 1, 2, 3. Again, keep in mind, you're just drafting this out as part of the iterative process, because you're going to continue to get feedback from each of your future professors, and you're going to eventually have a committee with a dissertation chair who's really going to help you finalize some of this information. So the iterative process is you writing and then getting feedback, and so that's what we've done in this class so far, is you've written and you've gotten feedback. Now you're going to write chapters 1 through 3 and submit them. Again, if you need to Monday on that assignment as well, just let me know. I'll be happy to grade that work by if you need a little bit of extra time. We just have to make sure we do it in a timely manner. So please stay in contact with me. Hopefully this video helped a little bit. And if you have any questions, text me or message me.